All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go again. You know what time it is. It's time for Beyond the Rift, starring Imaqtpie, the world famous, the world class attack damage carry, former Team Dignitas All-Star, who's played in every tournament known to man. And then joining me on my right today, he needs no introduction, but introduce yourself anyways.
I'm Scar, guys. I played on a team with the monkey on my left. We did great. We went to Worlds. Let's not talk about Worlds, what we did there, but we did something.
We played in Korea.
Now I'm here.
Dude, we've
been in Korea. We've been to Ukraine. We almost died in Ukraine. Honestly, I've been all around the world with this boy, and we have a lot of experiences, and we like to share them with just you guys.
Yeah, with just you. You in the chat. You right there watching us right now. So let's get it underway. But before we do that, why do I always say that? I need to stop doing that. But before we get it underway, Discord live Q&A on Beyond the Rift. So we like to do a little question and answer on Beyond the Rift. Scar, you want to give them a little rundown of how it works? No, you don't, because I'm the host. So what we do is we get people on the Discord, and you guys ask some of the best questions we've ever had the privilege of answering. And from both of us, I want to thank you guys for asking these amazing questions that I always find myself so intrigued to answer. The inner mechanisms of Twitch chat's brain just always fascinate me. So if you guys want, you can hop on the Discord right now. We're going to be doing a Q&A at the end of the stream. And shout out to Bloody. Got me these nice headsets. Scar is rocking those nice headsets too. They make some killer gaming peripherals. And I love them. But let's get it underway. Scar, are you ready for some Beyond the Rift topics? All right, we're going to do a quick fire round, where we don't mix anything up because we didn't do a quick fire round. But let's get it underway. Topic number 1, dude. The new DECAY system in ranked means master and challengers have to play a lot more games. Is that good or bad? I love this change. I'm playing on... So I have 4 accounts in Challenger right now, and I hate it. Like, I want to try my best in solo queue, but God, do I hate it, because as a streamer, being good doesn't matter as much as being entertaining. And the thing is that you just run into queue times. Like, as a player, this goes for any Challenger player, they'll tell you, you just run into queue times the higher you get, and you just, like, I don't know how you can even play this game if you're like 800 plus LP, because you probably have like an hour-long queue time every game. But I feel like if this change works how it's intended to, and it makes people play, I'm so ready for this. But how do you feel?
I think it's really good. But the thing is, it's like, I feel a little bit bad for people who can't play a
Dude,
lot.
fuck those people. You either spend your life devoted to Riot Games, or you just get out of Challenger and Master, dude.
I mean, I the thing about this system is, I think it's really good. Like, I definitely agree. I like the bank system. I think this is a good incentive for you to like play, and you can still wait like a good 2 weeks before you have to play again. Overall, I think everything is great about it. The one problem I have about this is this system, if they do continue with the system into next season, which I think they should, I really think this is a system that would promote stuff like monthly rewards, or like every 2 months have an award as well. Small stuff that really helps incentivize the player for sticking.
Actually.
Yeah, in Challenger. Like, at the moment, though, obviously there's only like 2 months left till the end of the season, so it's fine, you know, because the reward is the end of the season reward, and they got like 6 Challenger prizes yet to be announced. However, in the next season, which I'm assuming they're going to keep the system because it's great, I like the idea. Problem is let's say there's like a month where you have to go do something. Like, not me, because I just play this game all day. But like other people who like have schooling or like go on vacation, you know, I don't want to keep them tied to their chair. I don't want to keep them like chained to the game.
Do you think it's really that bad though? 1 game a day? I feel like that's like nothing. Like, if you're playing League of Legends and you're at a Master Challenger level, who plays 1 game a day?
Well, It's more like the idea is that like if you did get to that point and you want to go do other things, I respect that, because you've already invested the amount of time to get to challenger. However, spending like being forced to play a lot, I can understand for more casual players, not me, because I'm
Yeah, but
hardcore. Like
do
I
you
just
really
play all
think
day.
casual players are master challenge? I mean, all right, I've played against some really bad master challenger players, but I know that they're putting their heart and soul into it, playing a lot of games. I feel like there's not that many of them that's like, I'm gonna play one game a day, dude. I'm gonna take it lightly. I'm just doing
I,
whatever.
I actually I know I completely agree. So maybe I'm just talking about the very very small minority. But regardless with about this, I think that okay, the system's great. Completely agree with you. I want to make the people on the ladder play more, so the queue times, match quality goes up. Hopefully, that's the ideal situation. I just think that this really should develop in a way where you're rewarded more on like a shorter time basis for being able to have this kind of upkeep. Like I hope going to next season that they give you rewards every month. Like, oh, you stayed around, did have this.
What kind of rewards do you want? Like skins, or because if they're just giving out like the stupid ass icons, just keep that shit right. Don't even give me like that stuff's insulting to give to me.
I don't know. Like I at some point I just think having some RP would be nice, because people who play this game a lot
RP would actually be a great reward. Yeah.
right. So it's like okay, if you're able to maintain challenger, you can get like $20, $50 with the RP, and it's like yes, it's for a very small amount of people, but these are your most passionate, your most dedicated, and the highest, the most
Come
or
on,
highest
the
performing
most
players.
passionate. There's people in bronze with like, there's that bronze
Okay.
Dr. Mundo with like 5 million games played on
Okay,
him.
some of the most passionate players. 'Cause you just don't get the challenger playing like a small amount of games.
Yeah. I mean, do you think this is gonna disincentivize smurfing? Like,
Uh,
as a player with 4 accounts in Challenger, I don't know if I'm gonna actually care enough to upkeep them. Like, this is the first time where before, like when the season first started, I mean, there's a lot of people still where people just grinded out games and then they just camped the spots. And there's so many people like that right now, even where they don't even have the dynamic preference badge on them because they haven't played 20 games. But now that this thing's coming out, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to like force myself to maintain the accounts because it is an investment.
I think though, I don't think you can do that. And for me, I've only ever had 2 accounts. So I think 2 accounts.
Wait, you
is
only
fine.
have 2 accounts?
Yes, because
Holy.
Riot Games won't let me legally buy or purchase a free level 30.
Dude, we could do a whole thing on this. This is dumb as hell how you can't buy that shit, but go ahead.
But yes, because they never gave me the option, and I am a good
Law-abiding
summoner.
citizen.
Yeah, law-abiding citizen. I don't break laws. I never really found the heart to grind through like a bajillion games of bots. So I've only ever played on 2 accounts, even though there's been a lot of seasons where I always thought that I think it was back in season 3 where there are only 50 slots in Challenger. Mada had 3 accounts in Challenger, and he had 3 separate roles. So you played jungle, AD, and
Oh
support
yeah, I
in
remember
Challenger.
that.
And
Yeah.
I was just like, I always remember that, and I'm just like, that guy is such a monster. So I'd like to have separate accounts for each individual role. However, just being able to get the accounts to 30, let alone like the runes and the champions, I kind of crushed that dream a long time ago. So now I only have 2 accounts where I just play kind of multiple roles on. But yeah, I would. I think being able to upkeep a lot of different accounts, it sucks for those people. I know a lot of people who have 4 or 5 accounts. Super Metroid has 7 accounts in Masters right
He
now.
has 7 accounts?
Yeah, he has an unbelievable amount of
Jesus,
accounts.
dude.
I'm sure they were all legal.
Wait,
No
are
one
they
has
all
ever bought
Vi
accounts.
only also?
Yes, they're all Vi only. Oh, for the most part, from what I understand. I don't know. I just know he has a ridiculous amount of accounts. So I know it's probably gonna be impossible to upkeep more than 3. But I think that's a small price to pay. Like you'll want to play on your main account more because there'll be better people playing.
I mean,
think.
do you think it's better though that you can't just have Smurf accounts? Like, do you think it's better for everyone?
No, I would love to be able to have Smurf accounts, but I think that the Smurf accounts should be there not to like to play on if to what you call it, dodge or just camp the ladder essentially. You should only have a Smurf account, or you can have Smurf accounts for other reasons, like playing different champions, or like you don't want to be like, or you don't want to be public, or any of that stuff. But I think having a Smurf account to dodge queue timers is the thing that Riot's trying to target with these changes. They're trying to make sure that you want to have the fastest queue times with the highest quality matches. And I think this is the case system does a good job of being able to do that at the expense of people who have 3+ accounts in Masters.
So overall, though, do you love this new system? Like, I'm so happy that Riot did this. Like, God, dude, I want to just see someone at Riot and just give him a big old hug, dude. Big sloppy kiss.
I'm really happy they did this. Even though it even came very, very late in the season, but I think we have about 2 months left till the season ends. I think in 2 months, that's a lot of days people have to play. Like, this will force people on the ladder
I can't wait to see the ladder, dude. Dude, someone should screenshot the ladder the way it looks right now, because that shit's gonna change completely. Like, there's so many people that just camp spots.
Yeah, I do not think, since you're not able to camp anymore, I'm really interested to see how the ladder shifts in the next couple of weeks, months.
Do you know? So this is just. Do you know if the system's working right now? Because I was playing today, and I don't. It says that there's a banking system in your league tab.
I don't know if it works or when it works. I am really confused, and so I'm hoping it'll all sort itself out. There might be some hiccups where people just randomly start losing LP, and that would suck. However, over the period of the next 2 months, I'm sure everyone will understand the system as it plays out.
But yeah, we both agree. This system, good job, Riot Games. That's the thumbs up from both of us. Next topic. So we were asking people on Twitter, or Skara was asking people on Twitter, what should our topics be? We got a suggestion from the one and only Sim is a God. He says, Skara, teams are flying out to Korea to practice. How important is it to boot camp there? From both of us, because we both played in OGN, dude. We got down for, how long was it? 2 months? I don't remember how long.
Yeah, it was like a month and a half to 2 months. I just remember Dom almost died out there because his stomach couldn't handle the food, and he had like hospital problems. So like we almost like sacrificed him at the expense of us playing in the region. However, it was a great experience. I think the solo queue there is exceptionally good because all the best players in the world play in Korea. China plays on Korea. Koreans play on Korea.
But do you play on Korea? Do I play on Korea?
Okay, all the best players minus us. And so with that in mind, I think that their consolidated talent at the top of the ladder is insane. And so you're only going to be playing against some of the best players in the world. I think that's so nice to play against. One of the bigger things is I don't think people would mind too much. But honestly, the ping difference going from 60 to 8.
God, yeah.
Cutie, talk to me about ping.
That is so much of a difference, dude. Like, people tell me they watch like Koreans play and they're like, Jesus, Cutie, they're so good. Can anyone on North America hope to ever have a chance of matching this solo queue player in Korea? It's like, dude, if you had 8 ping, you could probably look this fucking good. Probably not, but like, having low ping is such a big difference, and as a competitive player, it's even more of a difference because on Tournament Realm and on stage, you play on like no ping, so you want to be able to practice in an environment that's basically the same as that. I think that the only place you can do that is Korea. Like, I don't know what the ping's like in Europe and China, but I can't imagine it's as low as in Korea. So you're basically just only going to play there if you really want to focus on improving on like the big stage, because you can't do that in North America. In North America, pros are playing on like, what do they play? What do you play on? You play like 100 ping?
No, I play on like 65. And like people will say like, you know, the jump to 8 to 65 isn't that big. But
Hell no, dude. That shit's huge. Like, you don't know the difference. So you don't see how much of a difference it is until you're like able to utilize the difference in the ping. So like, if you're bronze 5, no offense to any bronze 5 viewers, dude, but if you're playing on 8 to like 1,000 ping, it probably makes no difference to you because you're gonna int anyways. But like a challenger player playing on like 65 ping and playing on 8 ping is like, that shit's huge for you.
One of the things that people don't realize is also just the idea of a boot camp means that there aren't any other factors in play. You only just focus and grind on the game. While you're in the States, you got gaming houses. Maybe you got girlfriends. I know a lot of teams have players which have girlfriends. They're not allowed at the boot camp. So like all you do at the boot camp is literally you eat, play, sleep, wake up, eat, play, sleep
Isn't
every
that what
single
most
day.
teams do now, though?
Yeah, but there are distractions, you know. I think in the States where once you're in Korea, once you're in this environment where like everyone's even closer together, you know that you can just focus your mind on one single thing. Which
Yeah, I
is
mean, when
not
we were in
going to a
Korea, I
game.
loved it, dude, because we were like all. So we had our bedroom to the left, and then we went out of the like apartment building, and we went into like the next door down, and that was pretty much our gaming station. All five of us just like huddled in this tiny ass room with like five computers. That stuff was great. Like I think boot camp is great also because it's just like it's a nice environment. I don't know, like for me personally, it's just a change of pace. It helps like to stop burnout because I don't know if it is from just me, but playing against some of the best just makes me. It's like, yeah, dude, I want to get better. Like when I play North American solo queue, it's like, who the hell are these people? Why the fuck are these guys in my game?
I saw that last game you played, Kitty. Is that
I
what you
did
mean?
too. God, man. Like those kinds of games, you play them and it's just like, damn, dude. If only I was in Korea right now. Like, I think Korean boot camping, though, is like, it helps a lot of players. I don't think every team gets the most out of it because you have to, like, go into it really focused and really determined on improving. And if you have that, like, haha, let's just have fun attitude, you're not getting everything out of it. And I mean, I don't know how Korean teams work. I remember when we played there, like, some of them refused to scrim us because we were too
Yeah.
good.
No. Okay, this is what happened. So at the time we went to Korea, we were playing. I think in OGN season 2 or 3. So we went there. The first week we went to scrim and we went to scrim. I think MVP at the time had 3 different teams. Back before sisters teams got banned. So we wanted to play their best team. We did. We played like a couple games against them. We got smashed.
Wait, tell him about the Draven though, because it just came out.
Wait, I don't remember that. So you have to tell them about the Drake.
I picked Draven, and then I shit on them completely, and then they banned it, and then we all fed our ass off, and then they just stopped playing against us.
Yeah. Okay. So their best team. We played against their best. This is the first week we were there. We played against their best team. We got destroyed. Okay. So now we play against their second team. Okay. We play against them. You know, we're still losing. It's not like we're losing 90% of the time.
Yeah,
but
they're
we're
like
losing
kind of
70.
competitive, dude.
Yeah. It's like okay, and then so they stop scrimming us, and then we go down to the third team, and then we're like splitting even for like the first week, and then after the first week, we're like, you know what? We were sandbagging the whole time, so we start beating the third team like quite easily, and then we start moving back up the ladder to be able to scrim the better teams, and that's kind of I feel like how it worked there, at least for us, was that if they'll play against you, they'll give you a shot. But if you suck, you're not getting another shot. Not unless you can prove that you're good enough to warrant it. So I've heard the same from like Samsung, from SKT. You play like a best of 3. If you're not good, then they're not playing you again. And I think that encourages you to even want to play. That encourages you to want to play so well in scrims because you have to impress to get scrims against good teams.
Yeah, and I mean it works both ways because if we just ended up sucking, that boot camp probably would have been just us playing solo queue because we never would have had scrims. So yeah, that's
but the one thing I have to say is you have to be careful. Like this isn't a thing where you can maintain throughout the year. Even if you could, it's only for like very short periods of time because honestly, like the living condition, it'll start to get to you. Like it'll wear you down. Like
wait, really? Did it wear you down? I loved in Korea.
Okay. I loved it, but like, I mean, I'm not normal. Like, I still love playing the game after 6 years, and I talk to people out there, and they don't have the same level of like, I don't want to say passion. They just don't like the game as much.
Who was
like some days
Who doesn't
they'll
have
love
the
the
passion?
game. Everyone I talk to,
Who's
like
everyone?
most even like a lot of pros I talk to are just like I only like playing like competitive or like I only like playing in certain situations when it lines up. And maybe some days they just hate it. But like I don't know. I always felt like I was the weird one out because I just enjoy the game, not on another level, just I guess more consistently than most people. And like you're also weird because you like the game too, and you like the game
Yeah,
pretty
I'm
much as
fucking
much as
weird
I like
for
the
liking
game.
League of Legends, man. What a weirdo this guy is. He likes playing League of Legends, man.
Oh, you know what I mean, right? Like you'll talk to people you know they don't like playing the game, but they
Oh
do.
yeah, dude, you can see, dude. If you want to know someone that doesn't like playing the game, look up like players that were like competitive before and are like fucking D5 now. Those are people that don't like playing the fucking game anymore. But I know what you mean. So you think Korean boot camps? You think it's a necessary thing to take it to the next level?
I think it's really, really good for the players. However, there are downsides, right? The downsides being it's like an investment from the organizations. They have to spend like $100,000 to fly people out, pay for all the food, pay for all the equipment, make sure they have this place set off for like a month or two. That's a lot, or like sorry, a month. That's like a lot of money to just throw down every year to be able to do that just for a month of play.
You
And what
saying
if you
it
go?
ain't worth it though?
I'm saying that's one of the cons. Another thing, and something that people don't really realize, is I talked to Tony about boot camping in other regions. He actually told me that for MSI, them and TSM were scrimming a lot of the other teams, and at the time they were scrimming and like smashing these teams. However, the more they played against them, the more that they were able to kind of understand their play style. Because MSI was at the time where like North America had a very specific support meta. They were the only region running Soraka, and then when they like the other region saw Soraka for the first time, they're like, "That's a dumbass champion." But then like they kept losing to it, so they're like, "Wait a second, maybe the champion is just really good." And so we get to see, or like if you boot camp, you get to see more play styles throughout the world, but they also get a better read on you. So that's like, and that's actually a pretty big con because talking to Tony, like a lot of the teams didn't want to go to Korea, but they have to because every NA team wins. So if you're going to Worlds and you're not in Korea right now, you get no practice. No one is staying in the region. And so because of that, yeah, it's not even, it's like a necessary thing right now. It's not even like, is it okay? It's like, oh, if you're playing at Worlds, you gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, I think boot camping's pretty important too. It definitely has its cons. Yeah, if you're not in love with the game, playing the game like boot camping's pretty rough. If you're not in love with it, it can be pretty hard. But yeah, boot camping, you gotta do it, dude, if you want to be competitive. Let's move on to the next one though. My man, Tenny Kuhn, he asks, if you had to give one statement on how to win games in ranked, what would you say? Dude, okay, I give this every time. I get this question so goddamn much. It's actually ridiculous. And I give this answer. It might sound like a cop-out answer. You can tell me how you feel about it after I say it. But
Okay.
being positive really does make it so you win. Like Riot gives you that bullshit all the time. Like positive players win 30% more games, or negative players are a really bad thing to have on your team, or some bullshit like that. Dude, I'm telling you, if you're a positive player, it will help you tremendously in winning games in ranked.
My answer to this when it comes up, I have a bunch of different answers. So whatever the day is, kind of feel like I throw out one from the bucket, But my main answer is if you lose in ranked, it's your fault. Every game you lose is your fault. If you're blaming your teammates, you're wrong. Sure, they messed up, Sure, if you're 5-0 and your rest of the team is 0-15, that means you have the chance to carry. Your team can't do anything, right? If they're 0-15, why do you have expectations of your teammates at that point? So if they play bad, why are you surprised? I always think every game is your fault. And I too, I'll be the guy who gets frustrated. My team isn't playing too well. Maybe sometimes I'll call him out for being Diamond 4 like a stream I was just watching.
Woo! Do that shit all the time to get the fuck out of my game.
But in the end, it is all on you. So if you think of it with that kind of mentality,
yeah, like
you're the deciding factor in every game. You can't influence other people because they're not playing with you all the time. The only sole variable that stays the same is you. So if you can make yourself better, then that's all that matters, right?
Like it's so many times, dude, that I'll have people be like, yo, cutie, this guy on my team, he was just so bad. He couldn't do anything. It's like, dude, if you play enough games, you're going to probably play against someone just as bad as that. If you can't beat them, then you deserve to have that dude on your team and lose that game. Like, you just have to, the only thing you need to worry about, am I playing well enough? Like, if you watch any top tier player, or even like decent player, they're not like, I mean, there's a lot of players that are like, dude, my teammates suck, fuck everyone. But like, the best of the best will like realize, damn, I made a mistake. You find me, I say it so often on stream, like I'll go into a 1v5 and I'll get a quadra kill. Damn, I played that like garbage. Damn, I could have won that. Damn, I could have done something different. It's not like, wow, where the hell was my team, dude? I had the pentakill and I did everything and my dumbass team was just over here doing absolutely nothing. Like, I don't think you hear anyone say that kind of stuff. Like, maybe I will dominate, but that's about it. Like, that's the only guy, and he's the exception to the rule, dude. But like, for the most part, like most players, they realize that they're the only thing that can win the game. Like, it's a very selfish way of looking at it, I'll admit. Like, when I play games, I'm just like, all right, everyone's garbage on my team. I'm just going to try to 1v5, and I'm just going to ignore everything. And that's a pretty selfish way of playing it. But, I mean, sometimes it's just, if you want to carry it, you need to do the damn thing yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's mainly the mentality thing for self-improvement, because if you eliminate all the other factors and you're the only one left to blame, then you got nowhere else to go, right? Like, you already know you lost the game because of you. If you won that game, like there are gonna be games where you win the game because it's not you, but you want to make it so that every game you win, it's because you did something. It's because you did something good. You shouldn't aspire to be carried every game, because that will happen. Don't get me wrong, but if you want to play, you want to get better, you should aspire to bring impact and play well every game.
Yeah, I get that so much. It's like, yo, cutie, I have this Fizz on my team. I was like 10-0. He ended up missing his fish, and then we lost the team fight and we lost the game. It's like, dude, what do you want? Do you want him to hit the fish and just carry your garbage ass, dude? Like, if you're 10-0, carry the game yourself. It shouldn't matter if he ends up missing the fish or not. Like, people are gonna miss skill shot. Dude, if you have enough of a lead and you have to rely on someone else playing perfectly, then like, you're just garbage. Like, that's just the reality of it. Like, the best thing I can tell anybody for winning games, man, focus on yourself, stay positive, don't be a flamer. That's like everything, dude. What, you got anything to add to that?
I even think the third one's like an optional thing, because
yeah, you can be a flamer. Okay, you can be a flamer.
Everyone at high elo flames. Let's be real. But I do think the first two things are the key. You know, if you do anything, you step away from this show, I want you to look in the mirror when you do and say, you know, everything is my fault. I'm gonna get better, and then just get better. I'll see you in Challenger.
Yeah,
when I get there.
Like, if anything, if you want to flame, like, try to just turn it down. Like, if you're at a 10 and you're like, dude, everyone on my team's garbage and I hate them, turn it down to like a 5. Be like, I don't know what I expected from you. You're so bad, but I can carry this. That's okay, dude. And then from there, you can try to turn it down to like a 2. Like, you guys aren't playing that well, but I'm going to try my best to win. And then you can just tone down the levels little by little until you get to that point where you can just focus on, all right, I'm going to try my best to win, even if my teammates don't do that well. That's how you win rank, dude. But okay, let's move on to the next subject. Thank you guys on the Twitter for the great questions, though. Last week's predictions, man. Me and you got it tied. That's bullshit. I wanted to win this again. Man.
I think you beat me in terms of number of games, but in terms of overall prediction, yeah. And in my defense, I did not think that they would lose 3-0.
You didn't? Wait, who? Team Liquid?
Both the teams. The
oh,
first
yeah.
Team. Right. Okay. So actually, let's talk a little bit about this. Arc Second didn't play bad. It says something when I think he played the best.
Yeah, Arc Second was the best on the team. That's. I don't want to say that's pathetic, But Jesus, man, like this kid doesn't even play jungle. How the hell is he playing better than everyone else on the team? You can go
I
into it.
I was so disappointed in Proxton's performance that series, but I don't want to take away from Mark's second. No expectations coming in. You come out. I wouldn't be surprised for him to stay in the jungle now because honestly, he played pretty well, like mid low tier LCS jungler, and after playing jungle for only 2 weeks, that's impressive. I give him props for that.
Yeah, like I think that he was doing really well. I don't know if it's impressive of Team Liquid or sad for Envy that like Team Liquid, they were having a lead early on like every game, and I mean it was sad, but they ended up throwing it. I don't know if that speaks to how decent Team Liquid is or how garbage Team Envy is. Like, what do you think about that?
They just don't have the macro play. They lost one of their two main shot callers in terms of Darduck, and so Matt really had to be able to both lane with a new AD and shot call for the team in terms of macro movement. I think that's a lot of pressure to put on someone in the last 2 weeks. So I can understand they lost one of their big like stars or one of their big stars who even controlled how the team played in the mid-late game, and so mid-late game decision making kind of sucked. But that's to be expected with a new roster. You tend to build that kind of stuff throughout the years, and the fact that they were even getting leads early, it's promising. I think that if you were to show me this team, told me they got together in 2 weeks, I'd be like, oh, okay, these players they got some promise. Let's see them next split.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I wasn't. I did 3-0 because I wasn't expecting anything from Team Liquid, but they honestly, early game, they played pretty decently. That last game when Jins picked Jinx was just like, I don't know. I don't know if that's, who could have possibly okayed that if that was the coach. Like, do you know if Loco does picks and bans? Because whoever okayed that fucking Jinx
I think
pick,
he has the final say, but as soon as I saw the Jinx pick come out, I'm like, oh, he picked Jinx, and then he got counterpicked in both aspects of the lane. I heard Jin versus Jinx is really hard, one of the worst matchups, and the support got counterpicked. I was just like, oh, they're just going to lose.
yeah, they just fed. I mean, I made a tweet about it. I was like, dude, if you want to know why I hate Jinx, just tune into this game. And he just got smacked. Like, that was you don't pick Jinx. Come on, man. That was just, I don't know.
I think if you do, it has to be like in a really specific situation where, yeah, at least make sure your laney phase is like even. But they got spanked.
Yeah, that was just, the last game is not even worth talking about. So
yeah.
let's just move on to the next one then.
Ooh.
Envy versus CNAT. I mean, I thought this was gonna be them getting smashed also.
Oh.
You said it was a 3-1. Scar, what made you think that Envy would be able to take a game?
Okay. Just in my defense, I just think Proxton's a better jungler than what he showed. I don't know what's going on. I think it's very similar to what Reignover's doing, where he's kind of underperforming in the postseason. There are just some team problems that are kind of pervasive throughout the team that's causing both these junglers to look really bad. I don't think Prox is nearly that bad. And if I asked or talked to people about Proxton, everyone typically gives me quite good feedback about about the player. However, yeah, I just think in both the series he played, he wasn't great. And that's like, and on top of that, Impact is just playing like a monster. So it's really hard for them to win when Impact is legit 1v5ing every game.
All right, then let's get into that with the IMT versus C9. We both ended up getting it correctly. I mean, Impact, I said this game, I don't know if it's just me, but do you feel like IMT and C9, they kind of have the same play style where I feel like their bot lane and their mid lane don't really matter that much. It's just a matter of Impact or Huni and Reignover and Meteos pop off. Meteos had like, someone told me in the chat, he had like a 30 KDA in this.
Yeah, he died once, and the one death he had was like the dumbest invade ever with Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
But after that death, he didn't die for the rest of the series. I was like, oh, this guy's playing out of his mind. But that the thing is, it's like, I just think C9 looks so good because they just have much better teamwork. It should say something where you design your draft to counterpick a Gragas jungle with Nidalee, and then the Nidalee gets invaded by the Gragas jungle and counter jungle. That's embarrassing, actually. The draft that game was so bad that they drafted, I think, 3 losing lanes so that the Gragas could counter jungle what it's supposed to be a counter pick in the jungle. like I just think that yeah, they just look way better than the other team, and it's just I always just think of Immortals as a team where if Rainover doesn't get going, their team has no traction. They can't get anywhere. They're like kind of bogged down, like they're in quicksand. Rainover's the guy with the rope. He's gonna throw the rope in the quicksand, like pull his teammates out and like lead them somewhere. However, if he's not playing well, if there's a breakdown in the synergy, then their team doesn't do anything. And that's a problem. Like a huge problem that I guess people start understanding their play style and really when they improve toward the end of the season in both seasons, it feels like Immortals kind of drops the ball.
Yeah. All right, then. You're saying all this about Immortals. Then let's get it underway. We're gonna do a little something. So there's no upcoming game. We're gonna spice it up a little bit. We're gonna get a little controversial chat. You guys might not like this, but we're gonna be going into roster swaps. So our first one, Apex Gaming. Should they swap the roster out or not? Scar, what do you think about Apex's roster?
Oh, man. Okay. So, obviously, as we get lower on the seeding, we can choose, like, we're going to ask to swap out more people, like, straight up, because if you end lower tier in the standings, something must change. Or else you can just stay there for next split, or get worse. So, Apex, I think Shrimp did not play well this split. And I think if I look at that, it's crazy. I actually hear from behind the scenes, it's really, really hard to coach in general, coach a lot of imports without a really, really good translator. I think they should either invest in one or maybe look for more talent domestically. It should say something where the top laner Ray was talking about leaving the team like halfway through the split. He was like, "Oh, next season when I get an offer in Korea, it's going to be really nice." It's like, wait, you're still on Apex. What's going on?
I mean, do you think if Ray leaves that Apex is just completely fucked or what? I think Ray was putting in work.
Yeah, Ray was putting in work. He was one of their main win contentions. And Keen kind of didn't play that bad. I feel like if they want to build, they usually what happens is you build a roster around one or two players. I always choose to build a roster around either the jungler or a mid laner or both. Ideally, you want one who understands the game at a very high level, because if you only replace one, you want him not only to play very well, but also be able to enable your team to create good rotations, good macro play in the mid and late game. A good example of that is Echo Fox Froggen. I feel like doesn't really have. He's a great player, but he needs someone to help enable him because he doesn't have like super great shot calling going into the mid late game. But I don't know how it is with Apex. Honestly, I can't even tell. I think their jungler should be considered in consideration, but it's really awkward because I feel like their top laner is just going to leave. Like he essentially just says their top laner is going to leave. So they're going to get what? Top jungle? I think Keen's probably been like their rock. But it's
like
hard for me to
Keen
say.
X Special dynamic. Does X Special do calls on that team or?
He said he didn't, and then at the very end when they were winning a lot, he did. Apparently, like I don't know. When you have a lot of shot callers in the team, like sometimes they clash heads, they butt heads, and maybe that's what's happening behind the scenes. It's really hard to say. Apex is one of the teams that's hardest for me to analyze looking in from the outside, and so definitely something needs to change. And I do pinpoint like, okay, I don't think Shrimp had a great season at all. In fact, I think he was a little above Hard, and then Hard's not even in the LCS anymore. So
you'd say aside from that, out the jungler top laner. That's who you want to swap.
I think the top laner is just leaving. So
okay, top laner is just gone then.
I actually think that Saint's not a bad coach. Like he at least understands the drafts under like pretty well, and understands macro, like getting his team to get better in terms of rotational macro play. And I think that maybe if he had to work with a roster that was easier to coach, like maybe not having like multiple languages, maybe an all English roster, he would like the roster itself would be able to be better.
So you want to get rid of imports?
Maybe keep Keen, and then like the rest of the two consider like English speaking players, not even non-imports. Like you can import from like Europe or something, but I think that they just need to at least they're probably going to lose at least two players.
Okay, so you think that The most important thing for Apex right now is communication.
I just suspected that it would help with the ability for Saint to take control of the team, but I don't know if that's what's gonna make them be a great team. You know, because you do need like a standard of talent to be successful.
Yeah.
Like I said before, if of all the teams in the LCS, this is the hardest team for me to analyze, and it's really hard for me to give like a solid estimate on what should change.
Okay. I say swap out the whole damn roster. All right, let's go to the next one. Echo Fox, baby. Swap or not? I mean, they already did like a swap pretty much with.
I actually think not. I would like to see how the roster looks with Darduck.
You liking the roster now with Darduck?
Their biggest problems were their mid to late game shot calling was just completely awful. Like it was really bad. I don't know who was doing it, but it just whatever. It's bad, and they lacked the ability for a person to initiate / create early pressure through the jungle position. And I think they replaced the person which can enable their solo lanes to do really well. And I think that they also brought in someone who can be good at mid to late game shot call. I still think Keith is good. I still think Froggen's good.
I mean, the big problems that most people talk about are KFO and Big. Do you think that
it was like hard and Big? KFO, I want to say is a good player, but again, communication is key. So if they don't have someone working with him that's able to like help him synergize to the team, I would drop him more than keep him. But I think he's solid. I think all the Korean imports this year were good individually. However, working as a team is the main deal. And if they can't do that, then they're not useful. And Big is, I don't know. I want to say yes. Big might have been a problem last split, but maybe he also has some room to grow. So, because I want to say though, he's better than people give him credit for.
Does he do shot calling on the team?
Yeah, I think he does half the shot calling with Froggen in terms of like macro play. That's what I'm saying.
Darduck's a shot caller too, though, right?
Yes, exactly. So if he doesn't have to focus on shot calling, he can just focus on laning with Keith. Maybe some magic can happen. If you do want to replace another person, Big is like the target for sure.
Yeah, however, like because everyone always hypes up Keith that he's like, this is the next like guy. It's like Altec, dude. They always get hyped up like these are the next big ADCs, and then they get in the LCS. Every time they just shit the bed, dude. It's just like it just hurts to look at, man.
It's definitely depressing. I don't think it's gonna happen. Like I always feel like. In this specific situation, because they have a shot calling force from the jungle, Keith decides whether or not the support stays. And so it's just up to him. If he wants to work out like their problems and he thinks they can do it, that's it. But this next split, if their bot lane doesn't do well, one of them needs to be gone, if not both.
So you think that for the most part you kind of want to keep it, but if Keith's not feeling Big...
You know what? I will say this, though. I'll give Big the benefit of the doubt. I don't usually do this. I would say let's see what the roster looks like with him, but potentially prepare like another person to compete with the spot.
Just get
similar
a sub
to
then.
How Smoothie and Bunny kind of like battle it out for the sub spot. I would like another support to also battle out. You know what? Let's just get Bunny again. I know he's streaming right now. Throw him over to Echo Fox, and then he can compete with Big, because I feel like that kind of competition will elevate his play, and I think that if they're able to make sure that he has a steady rate of improvement, he could surprise people.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that the sub idea is probably the best thing. I don't know what exactly is the problem with the bot lane, but I think that the roster as a whole. I mean, I think Darduck's pretty good. I think Echo Fox wouldn't have been as bad if they had someone other than Hart. So let's see how it goes, dude. And let's move on to the next one. Team Envy. You love these guys, dude. You told me they are going to take a game off of C9.
Oh, God. Okay. This is really good. This is like probably one of the more controversial statements I'll make. I think Lod actually ended up being like a top 5 LCS AD this season.
You think he's a top 5 LCS AD?
Think about his competition. Think of what they did. Okay. I think top 3 are in no order: Doublelift, Stick Stay, Sneaky. Okay, pretty reasonable. I think Turtle, outside the one Ezreal game against COG, didn't really show anything. And honestly, his performance in even in the last best of five
Yeah, he played like
wasn't that
garbage
great
in the
either.
playoffs.
So and actually, I think Lod is slowly sneaking his way up. Lod used to be, and he even said it himself. He used to be like
dude,
kind of this
as an
benchmark.
ADC main, hearing this shit sounds fucking pathetic, dude. I mean, oh man, this hurts. I know where you're coming from because there's like no other ADs in the LCS, but holy shit, man,
I think he's improved quite a bit coming into the LCS. I understand because I was with you. I felt like, Lai was the difference between making it into the LCS and being a challenger. He was like the
he's
cutoff
like the
point.
Chris, dude.
So yeah, so essentially people like he was the Chris of the AD carry role. If you were better than Chris, you're not getting to LCS. But if you're worse than Chris, you're not even gonna make it in challenger. Chris was like the challenger smacker, but that wasn't able to really ever bring it out in LCS. And I think that it was kind of the same for Lod. However, I don't know. I think this season he can kind of cement himself. I feel like he's right behind Turtle. If anything, the impact he has on the game is similar to Turtle's impact, and I think his level of play has been about the same. So I would put him around the 4, 5, 6 mark, and that's not something I expected to say coming into the season.
Yeah, I mean, that's not something I was expecting to hear either. I mean, I guess you're right. There's so much fucking garbage in the LC. Dude, like, hearing this shit's just like, man, I might as well come back and show these fucking kids how to play this dumbass kids game, dude. Like, Jesus, man. Like, I love Lod, and I think he's a great player, too. But, yeah, I don't think in, like, a million years, Lod is, like, a top player in the LCS, dude.
All right. I also want to give props to Hako. I thought he's been playing very well recently. He was actually one of the first supports to bring out Trundle support back from the grave, back when everyone dropped him because like people thought he wasn't that good. And his Morg was super on point. I think he's been doing a lot for the team. The thing is, I don't know what to do about this team because it's so strange. I want to say they should just hire support staff that better can connect the two pieces of the team together. So their bot lane is their English-speaking duo, and the 3 people on the top side are all Korean, and the coach is Korean, and so I feel like this. And
Wait,
from what I was told,
the coach speaks English though, right?
Yeah, kind of, but from what I understand, a lot of stuff gets lost in translation between the two. If they're able to connect the two pieces together, and maybe find people everything I'm going to talk about today is how to build a better team. I don't really care about the individuals, so I think especially from there, and they need someone who's able to connect the two pieces better. Additionally, if I were to choose one player, yeah, sure, Seraph didn't look good against Impact, but no one's gonna look good against Impact. He's literally playing like he's a top 5 top player in the world right now. Like he's playing that good. And throughout the games, I thought Seraph and Ninja did a lot to make it work. The thing is, Proxen usually enables them to play very, very well. However, Proxen's really, I thought, been playing one of the worst on the team. If I had to swap someone out, it would be him.
You'd want to swap out Proxen?
Potentially, yes. That's the person I would look at.
I think the roster's okay. I don't think they're better than C9, obviously, but yeah, maybe it's the coaching staff. Like, I don't know anything about the inner workings of Envy, but I feel like they have like an okay. Do their Koreans speak any English?
Seraph does. Ninja not really, and Proxen not really. Like, it's like they can get along. But I remember talking to Lod. He's like, yeah, one of the times I was with them, like we went out to eat and like they spoke Korean together, and like I had my earphones in. I'm just like, that sounds miserable.
Yeah, that sounds like an awful team environment. Actually, yeah, let me just swap out the roster then. That's miserable. Like, how do you play as a team if you can't even like talk to each other?
Yeah, so that's why like I'm fairly impressed they've been able to work together with this kind of multi-language team, especially without any kind of they have a translator working with them on site too. However, it still feels like they're two parts of a piece, a whole. And so I hope that in the future they can connect themselves together.
Well, if they're two parts, what would you get rid of, the English part or the Korean part? Because I feel like they're a decent team.
Yeah, they're a decent team. The problem is you can't get rid of the English part because then you have no people native the country. They can't play in the LCS.
Yeah,
so
I
you
guess
have
that's
to keep
true.
it. So that with that in mind, it's like it's okay to import. I'm not against imports. However, you have to find a way to be able to bring them together into the team. I think play teams who really invest in the support staff not only have like a really really good coach and a really really good translator and the ability to bring people together. I thought C9 Display is an excellent example of the ability to do that. And yeah, I think that Envy should really find. I think it's just support staff, and maybe if you want to take someone out, it's Proxim.
All right, fair enough. Let's go to the next one then. Let's go to Team Immortals. Oh man, this one I'm just gonna go get rid of the bot line, dude. Just throw them in the trash. Just find someone else. I love this team's core. I mean, I love Pobelter. I feel like he's okay. He's not a star player. He doesn't really do anything, but
you're not gonna get a better mid than Pobelter.
yeah,
like,
you're not gonna get a better mid than him. Like he's good enough.
Even underperforming in the playoffs, I still think he's top 4.
Yeah,
and that should say something about how good he plays as the only native English player,
North American baby.
player.
Let's go.
Yeah, in the mid lane role. Like I'm mid lane, so I know firsthand that role is taken up by import slots. But I think Pobelter is by far, like in a way, like very very talented. The roster itself, I have no problem. A lot of people hate Huni. I don't think Huni is the problem, dude. The problem is the fact that if Huni doesn't get going, nothing else happens. Like,
do you think that's a coaching staff problem or player problem?
I think it's both. I think Huni, the Immortal strategy has always been Huni and Reignover go off, and the rest of the team catches up.
They just live. Like, it's not even catches up. They just need to not feed.
and every like third or fourth game, Pobelter would go off essentially. However, that's terrible. Like, I understand having one-dimensional strategies. I'm fine with that, But it's just like that. That means that there's a problem if I actually don't think Reignover and Adrian have good synergy together. Like I feel like their macro play, their movement together isn't good. Like sure, Adrian puts out a lot of vision. However, they seem to not be able to really do anything in terms of on a map wide level unless they have big leads from the top lane. And so a lot of people critique Huni. They're like, "Oh, Huni sucks. He's a choker. Whatever." That guy's the best player on the team in the playoffs. Or
you think he's the best player on the team?
I think he's the only reason they win most of their games. And sure, their play style is built around him. But even in the series against CLG, where all the pressure went bot side from Reignover, Huni still came out and performed. He's one of the best flanking top laners in the game right now. At the very very least in the region, he's the best. And when you think of it like that, like even better than Impact. Impact lanes like a monster, wave control like a monster. However, flank TPs, whatever, not really good. However, Huni, he's the magician when it comes to being able to flank, being able to do something from a really really good angle that he created.
Who's the shot caller on that team? Do you know?
I have no idea. I want to say just Reignover does his own thing, but I've talked to a lot of other junglers. They all think Reignover is fantastic. Like Sven even says, I asked him, "How do you learn jungle routes? Does your coach help you? Do you watch other games?" He's like, "I kind of just copied my jungle routes from Reignover." I'm just like, what? All right.
At least
and
he
then
said it.
yeah, no, that's great. And I talked to Medius before. He's like, I learned the most from Reignover because that guy's actually really, really, really good. Like he's not overrated. That guy is actually good. So yeah, he didn't play very well in the playoff series and in the gauntlet. No one's gonna deny that he played really bad. But I think he is an exceptional player, and I think there's more problems behind the scenes that make him look bad. I want to say, at some extent, this is a coaching staff problem because this team drafts, even with Huni being a player who is very unique, he shouldn't be able to draft 20 different champions or throughout like 2 splits. Like, I think there's a big drafting problem because they're not really authoritarian enough to be like, you're playing this, you're playing that. So I think rather than maybe removing the head coach, they should just add someone on to be able to help them out. I think Immortals is one of the teams, they did have this fantastic run, 33-3 throughout both splits. So they have the pieces to win. However, they're missing something. So I think maybe not even getting rid of the head coach, but adding someone on who can really help him it would be very, very beneficial. Someone who maybe just studies draft and helps them out on that point, because that's been a very big weakness of theirs throughout, I would say, even both splits.
You think
And
player side though the roster is good? 'Cause, I mean, I'll take back. I think Wild Turtle. I mean, he didn't perform in the playoffs, but I still think that he's a pretty good AD. But I don't know about Adrian. If he's not a shot caller, I don't think there's any reason to keep him. Honestly, like just I'll be completely honest, dude. I love him as a person. I don't really know him, but yeah.
No, I kind of agree with you. I don't know what's going on with the bot lane. I feel like bot lane wise, the bot lane doesn't have synergy with the rest of the team. I hate saying the word synergy. I say it so much. They're not working well with the other parts of the team. Like the support position should be helping with moving with the jungle to help create plays mid game, especially if the jungle has a lead or they have a lead. And it feels, for the most part, that didn't really happen in the Gauntlet series or against COG. It kind of happened some games, but it was Reignover doing his own stuff. And like he's good enough to get away with it sometimes, but against good teams that work together, he can't 1v5 C9 when literally they draft 3 losing lanes and then he gets counter jungled by a counter pick. Like that's not like I don't consider that game on him. I think that game's like a lot of other variables. So yeah, I don't know what it is with their bot lane, but I don't know if it's Adrian, I don't know if it's Turtle, but generally I think that their bot lane, they have a similar problem to how I feel Envy has. But that's ridiculous because they're a 5 English-speaking team. So if they have like problems like coming together as a team, similar problems in the team that's currently 6th in the region, then yeah, that's a big problem.
Yeah, that might be a coaching problem then. Just maybe. So you think then that you want to keep the roster and change the coaching staff up a little bit?
Yeah, I want them to. I don't even need to change Dylan. I don't even think he's a bad coach. I just think maybe add someone to specifically just help them in the parts where they didn't do well, like target stuff like drafting. Target stuff like mid game movement. Work the support moving together with the jungler. Just that kind of stuff. Because obviously, Immortals has money. They're paying their players a ridiculous amount of money. I'm just throwing it out. They are very well paid for their work, and because of that, I know they can hire additional staff. It's at least a possibility. And I think that having staff more focused on the stuff that they didn't do well on this split would really benefit them to be able to take it to like the next level. And I do agree with your worries about the bot lane. I don't know what's wrong. I can't see from behind the scenes.
Let's do a doom and gloom kind of thing because Huni and Reignover, they might want to be jumping the ship.
Oh God!
What happens to that team if they're both gone?
Holy shit. Okay. I think.
Do you think that they could even get a top lane and jungle that could even match that?
I think it'd be so hard. I don't know how, because they essentially move two of their biggest threats on the team. And not even threats, two of the biggest reasons why they win every single game. And because maybe with that, the style of the team just changes drastically, because what do you build around at that point? Butter, Wild Turtle, Adrian. It's really hard to build around bot lanes unless your bot lane's literally Uzi level or Bang level. And even then, typically, like I said before, I build around jungle mid. And so I guess immediately on that regard, you build around Butter. I don't know what he looks for in the jungle. You have to get. I don't think Butter is at the level where he's 1v90 with Bjergsen. He's going to come in, team fight super well. You want a jungler who's able to help him out and get him to the point where he's a god mode. And pressure at the right times. I think Reignover did a great job of that. But the fact that they have to look for another superstar jungler is crazy. They need a jungler on the same level of Trick or Reignover. That's a very, very hard to find. Top lane, I don't even know. I think top lane in North America has very, very little talent.
Yeah, there's nothing pretty much.
Almost all the people in top, actually I talked to a lot of analysts kind of agree that jungle and mid lane have a decent amount of talent. AD has a decent amount of talent in A. The support and the top lane talent in North America is actually the worst 2 positions, and that's pretty crazy. So if you're looking to replace top lane, is
that really crazy, dude? I could tell you the support roles just zero talent in there.
What? There's 12 Janna mains in Challenger.
Hell yeah, dude! 12 Janna mains, just what I want, dude. No, but do you think then if they lose both those guys, they're not auto relegation, right? But they're going to be having a whole lot of troubles.
I think if they lose both of those guys, um, they make playoffs next split,
You think
unless their
they'll make
roster's just stuck.
playoffs?
Yeah, like that's their hope. Like their rebuilding split is that you gotta hit playoffs again at the very least. And the thing is, I know Noah. That guy has high expectations for his team. He built the team. He's like, you know what? If we're just top three, that I'm okay with that. And it's like some people can say that, but
Who wouldn't be okay with that?
yeah, no, but like that, he expects them to get top three. Like that's a guarantee, like almost a guarantee by making the team. They're okay. They're top three, but I think that it really just comes down to who they pick up. I just can't.
I
If
couldn't
that
even
does
think of
happen,
somebody.
If that does happen, their ball lane needs to step up tremendously. If they're building a new team around those three members, Paul Butcher at the very least is going to give you a above average performance every time. But the because he's very consistent. However, the bot lane, they need to do something. They need to do work.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on to the next one then. P1, baby. Phoenix 1. These guys you actually love. Forget Envy, dude.
I love these guys. This is my second favorite team in the LCS right now. I love a lot of their players. I really like, and this is so funny because Anori used to be like the most toxic player ever. Like if you talk to people in past teams he's been on, he told me this himself. Like he was a really bad person in other teams. Like he was super toxic. Didn't work well in team environments. Actually got kicked off of teams for that specific reason. But really, he's trying to turn a new leaf. I've talked to him. He seems really chill. I talked to his team. Really chill. I love Gate. I think that I'd like to see more of them because they only really had half a split with their full roster. They added Fixer support, which I didn't think they really needed because I thought Gates playing like literally like second best on this team, third best. I think I'm kind of worried about their top lane position. Honestly, I thought Zig would smash it because Zig has always been like a great top laner in solo queue, but he hasn't been playing very well. And Brandini came in, essentially plays Trundle, and he hasn't really looked super good either. And so I think their top lane position is definitely something that I'm looking at and being like, what happened here? I thought Mash Me is like, he shot calls. That's the really unique thing about him. So it's hard for me to say how much impact he has on that team. But in some games, I think he'll play really well. Like actually, like he'll flash in with Sivir at good times and team fight really well. In some games, I feel like he just plays really badly. And so he's kind of in the middle. I think the spot that's most up for grabs. I actually really like Purian and their jungler because they work very, very well together. Like it says something. And Nori said they have probably some of the best jungle mid synergy of any team in A, and I think they proved that with how well they play together. So like the biggest thing I think to look at would be possibly their top lane because I just don't get anything from that team's top lane, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it says something that they were the only team to beat TSF. They must have like something within them that they just need to unleash. I want to say just swap out the entire team, but I want to see them one more split too. I want to see how they can do it.
If they played the entire split with Inori, I would be able to give you a judgment. All right, swap out the entire team or not. I think for Apex, you cannot be on the ball. I don't think their bot lane played very well. So if you want to sack the entire Apex roster, I can understand that. P1 though, we gave them some time. And they played well during that time. Like, if you look at their record in the second half of the split, they'd be ending like 6th place, around 6. So that's pretty good. That's way better than I expected on their initial roster. So I want to say, because they didn't play with their full roster the whole split, let's see how they do next split. Maybe consider someone different top lane, and we'll see.
All right, fair enough. Let's go into Team Liquid. Ooh. This is the struggle right here. My man, Jinth and Arc2nd. But Arc2nd, honestly, I don't know if I don't know if they do you know if they intend to keep him as their jungler? Or?
Probably not. I think he's going back in the free market instantly. I think. Oh god, Team Liquid. Jesus, they're a team. If you think about the talent that's gone through that roster, like just you can count out the talent. Hanser's been in that roster. Considering Law Pro, Curse Academy, Liquid, they have had some of the most stacked talents walk through at some point those doors and out the exit And they're left at the very end of the split. They were left with a roster of Phoenix, Arc Second, Jint, Mad Life, Lorelo. Of all the people they've ever had on their roster, I think that's just tragic. And that's like a big, like I say, management.
Yeah, so we just gotta go straight into, because this is what everyone says: kick Loco Doka. What do you think, Scott? Is it a kick Loco Doka situation?
I don't know if they need to kick him. I think if he wants to stay on coaching, I would like someone else to step in and he be there more for the strategic side of things, because I think he understands the game. Like, he understands the draft. However, in terms of taking control of the team and like setting schedules for the team, I feel like and doing like all the other head coach responsibilities, like tackling the future of the roster, and their general game plan throughout the split. I don't know if that's the person I want to talk to. However, I did say this though, or I do say this: I don't know what coaches do behind the scenes. So it's very hard for me to say that. From the outside looking in, I think TL's history is just in general. It's not just been Loco. Like, I think it starts from like the very top. Like Steve, they've never been able to build a roster that's ever been.
Yeah, I don't know what Team Liquid's problem. They've been around forever, and it's just like it's disappointment every time.
I personally, it's just, to me, they build the rosters around the wrong people every time.
You think building around Piglet was the answer?
No, because they didn't have the adequate support structure to be able to work around him. Like, they didn't have like, I feel like there's no.
Felt like he's
just
a
really
bad.
Yeah, he is, and I want to say there's a reason why no Korean team picked him up as soon as he left SKT, because he's got some baggage with him that if you know, and they do know because they scouted him, so they should know what happened behind the scenes. That he needs like a harder hand to be dealt with than I would assume one that exists on Liquid, and so. Yeah, I just think
Loco Doka will put him in his place. Piglet, cut that shit out right now, dude. Enough of that.
I mean, maybe he will, but I think even from inside the team, he needs people to really like hammer it in with him. And I think he's got a very specific type of style of how he thinks about the game. And if you're not thinking the same wavelength as him, he gets to the point where he gets frustrated because he doesn't know how to communicate it through. Like, again, this is one of those things where it's super important to be able to work like in multilingual teams. I think them having Loco is like probably the best thing they could have had to be able to take advantage of Phoenix and Piglet. However, I don't know. Let's not talk about their history.
Yeah.
The current thing right now, I don't know enough about Jint to say anything. I think he's not bad, but I mean, yeah, they had early lane leads every time.
Any AD that picks Jinx or thinks picking Jinx is okay, I give him the thumbs down, dude. You get the hell out of there.
Okay, let me just say, I have no immediate problems with him. If he's as good or potentially as good as they say he is, okay, whatever. I don't know. Matt, I don't know as well. I thought he started out really, really strong with his competitive showing. However, he has kind of scaled it back since then. He hasn't looked super good. He's kind of
when Matt first came into the scene, I was like,
no, Jesus,
man, this guy's a beast on Bard. But I mean, do you think it's Matt or more just the team in general?
I think it's both. Like, I think he's been playing worse, and the team has all kinds of messed up in terms of like what happens behind the scenes. So that's really bad. I look at mid lane. When I look at Phoenix, I'm just like, this guy lanes really well. He had at some point the highest CS of any mid laner in any region in the world. He was the highest CSing mid laner at one point. And I think he can team fight well. However, it always feels to me that he's just okay. Like, he's kind of whatever.
Yeah,
like,
he's pretty forgettable.
He'll team fight very well. You remember the time, he does this great team fight. However, I think of him as like kind of a poor man's Jensen. So Jensen, if you notice, he won't really move from his lane much without like maybe the jungle coming with him. But he'll like smash his lane. And like, he's got like some of the best laning mechanics of any mid laner in North America. But his like actual movement across the map to work with his team isn't as good as, let's say, Bjergsen or Pobelter or Huhi even. But he's just got that like laning quality that makes him such a huge threat to the point where all the teams camp him, and his team comes mid a lot to help him out. And if he has a lead, he can run with it. However, Phoenix is the type of guy that like doesn't have like the same level as laning pressure. Like he's still good in lane, but it seems like if people don't do stuff for him, he doesn't really do stuff for the team. Like if it's even, he's not the type of guy who will like roam bot lane and create a double kill. He's like the type of guy who will just stay mid and just keep making it
farm it up.
And I think that's like not a good quality I want in the mid laner. I want mid laners who can impact the game more than just farm. Like I don't care what your CS stats are. Like it's cool that you can CS well, but if you're not like winning the game, like at this point I value Huhi. Like I think Huhi is like number 5 in mid lane because at least even if his execution is bad, he will help his team out and he's getting good places at the right time. Almost always. But I don't get that kind of quality from a player like Phoenix. Like I just
what
think
about Inori then?
He exists Inori.
Yeah, what do you think about Inori in the top lane?
Wait. You mean Lorlo?
Yeah, Lorlo.
I'm like Inori.
Yeah. What about Lorlo then? Like the thing is with this roster, I just don't know what the problem is. It just seems like it's something internal that's the problem, but
yeah. And so even when you ask me, do I rebuild the roster around any players it left on the team? I don't even know. They may just want to do the whole thing, burn it to the ground, and build back up. However, I do think Lorlo and Matt Life are players who look good and have potential to grow. Lorlo especially this season. Ooh, he played so well. I think going into the later parts of the season, yes, he had Darda camping his lane, and he helped Darda definitely helped him look good. But I thought that his improvement was really, really good. And honestly, maybe Darda was the key because in his other series, he didn't look great. Yeah. But I think at least the option's there for him to be able to play very, very well. And I just think he has problems of, like, for instance, not picking up champions fast enough. I think his champion pool is really, like, bad. As soon as the meta shifted, he wasn't, like, early to pick up Gangplank or, like, Gnar or, like, Rumble. Even though he was a Gnar or Rumble main, he, like, kind of just stuck on Aurelia for a long time, even after a lot of people ended up dropping her. So, yeah, I would say, man, maybe just burn the whole thing to the ground.
Like, I feel like their roster isn't even that bad. Like,
it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. It like when I look at it, I'm like, these guys are okay, and then when I see them play, I'm like, these guys suck, man. So yeah, I don't know if it's like a coaching problem, an internal problem, or what.
I think it's everything. It's a pieces of everything make the team look terrible. Because when you think of just raw talent, the team in every iteration has had either some of the most talented players in the region. However, they're not able to win, and that points to, I think, just problems all over the place. Like the way they build their roster, they build around the wrong people. I think you could blame everything from the very top of the management downwards for how Team Liquid has performed over the years. I do think though. Oh God, maybe this next split they attempt to rebuild yet again around their 2 rookies. However, they're rebuilding around neither a mid lane or a top lane. If they keep Phoenix, which I want to say if you build around rookies, you should just have a team and you're not keeping Loco around, or if he's like put into like maybe a side category, you want to make sure that the team just speaks English. Unless you're importing like superstar talent in other roles. So maybe they just go the full distance and just pick up like a very, very fresh roster and try to work their way back up. I think I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I would love to see if they just burned it to the ground. New coaching staff, new like 5-man squad. Let's see what we can do, because I just don't know. It feels like they should be good, and then every time it's just, well, they're losing again.
I mean, okay, they have two things they can do: build around Matt and Lorlo, or burn it to the ground. It's up to them to do it. But both choices don't seem too different. I do think though, whatever happens, their success just hinges on whether or not they're able, their management is able to scout effective talent and hire effective coaching staff. That's it.
All right, fair enough. So that ends the roster swap. We won't be going into TSM and all them, because who the fuck are you gonna swap out on TSM? Come on. But let's get into everyone's favorite. It's time for the Discord Q&A, boys. Join us live on Discord. There's a link down below. You're going to want to click that link. It's going to take you to the Discord channel. Scar, are you ready to answer some questions live on air?
I'm ready.
Scar is ready. I'm ready. Ladies and gentlemen, the floodgates have opened. Let your questions just start coming in. Let me start hand choosing. Let's see. We got some really good questions coming in right now. And let's pick one. My man Chris, dude. Chris, this is beautiful question, by the way. Sky, this one's directed to you since you were a former coach. In your opinion, what do you believe is the most important or valuable trait to have in a coach, whether it be a skill or a personality trait?
Oh, God. I think they just need to have a really good idea of implementation. So that's the most important thing about a coach is being able to implement ideas. So everyone knows or can identify problems. If you're a problem identifier, you're useless. If you're telling Liquid, hey, Liquid, your drafts don't look very good. Your mid laner's not playing very well. Your jungle is not playing very well either. Of course, no shit. Like anyone could tell you that. However, the difference between actually being useful and being just obvious is the ability to solve problems. And the biggest thing about problem solvers is their ability to implement their ideas into execution that a team can deliver. And so an example of this is back when you trained shot callers, or you trained the idea of really working around Dragon. The implementation stuff to work around Dragon was every single minute, or every Dragons and objectives. Every single minute, we would ask someone to literally say on the team, "What is the next objective? What is the next objective?
Oh yeah.
What is the next objective?" That's an implementation thing that works. It's not super efficient, but it was at the very, very early. It was even before I coached. This was like the implementation to how to think about objectives and like work around objectives, prepare for objectives better, was just to talk and actively think about it more during the middle of the game. And so I just think the most important thing about a coach is even if they have vision, if they're good with the players, all of this stuff, none of it matters. The most important thing is being able to implement their ideas into executable things for the team.
Hell yeah. Crazy Flips. He asked, you guys are talking about English versus non-English speakers a lot during the show. Is it time to get rid of the idea of a team being good that does not all speak the same language? So I guess he's trying to ask, you know what he's trying to ask, Scar? What do you think?
Nah, you can be good with multilingual language. Just look at C9, dude. They got Impact. The guy Impact's their best player, and they have a style that doesn't work around him, but they still win. And so it's possible if you look at other iterations, especially in China. Like every roster has two Koreans. Some rosters are doing a lot better. You look at EDG, you look at RNG. God, I don't know how to say it. Is it RNG? It's the one with Uzi. With Uzi and Mata, they're working, although not as well as EDG. Like, it's possible. However, if you're looking multilingual, you really need to be able to find ways to be able to mesh the two pieces together, and because you're not going to have players who are super motivated or super dedicated to learn English. Players like, for instance, Huni, who's just like, you know what, I can't speak English at all. I'm going to go to Europe and just learn how to speak English. Some players aren't going to be able to invest that kind of time or don't have that kind of motivation. So you need to be able to find like good translators for them, good like living conditions, good food, and find like let's say like activities that are able to make the team bond. You know what I mean? Come on.
I know how you get down, Scar. All right, this man asks, "Oh, whoops! I seem to have scrolled past it." All right. Hello, Oberyn Gate asks, do you think that any of the players that will be invited to the NA scouting ground will actually be picked up by any LCS teams in the next season? I think there's going to be a lot of roster changes. Maybe not a lot, but there's going to be enough where I think someone from the scouting ground will definitely be picked up. What do you think?
I don't even know. I think for sure they'll be picked up, but it's a difference between getting picked up. It's not going to be picked up into an LCS team. It's going to be picked up into like a challenger team, more than likely. And Like this, like Matt said, the challenger scene is a ghetto, so maybe he'll never come out. However, it will bring out people like I already know some of the mid laners going. Like I think Tuesday Chicken's going. I'm actually really interested to see how he performs and how a
Wait,
lot of the other
you already
players
know
perform.
who's going on here?
I know a little bit of the people who's going. Like for instance, Tuesday Chicken's going. I think he's the highest rated mid laner right now, and he's never had any competitive experience. So I think he's like 900 LP, and he's got like two
Wait,
accounts in Challenger.
isn't he one of the people who are just camping a spot right now, or no?
I mean, maybe, but he's got two accounts in Challengers. So I'm telling you, like, if you want to go down the ladder and see, okay, who hasn't played competitively, or who hasn't been on a team, even a Challenger team in the last split, you come out dry with a lot of names because, like, Golden Glue isn't eligible to go to this because he played in the Challenger scene, and so it's literally like people who have not played a single competitive game.
Yeah, you gotta scroll down real far to start seeing people that played or haven't played. All right. Next question: how did Rare Imagine asks, how did you improve mechanically at this game, and which games helped you improve at League? I mean, when I was playing League, like trying to get better, I only played League basically. And how did I improve? Just grinding, dude. Like Scar will tell you, man. Like any player that plays this game, how do they get better? They just grind games over and over and over again.
The thing that happens the most is you really narrow down your champion pool and you just grind away. So when you're practicing for the game, it's completely different. So for a good instance is before I ever played Orianna on stage, I had probably 150 to 200 Orianna games played on like Smurfs and other accounts, just because it takes me a long time to pick up new champions, especially stuff that doesn't click with me instantly. So like to really like learn champions, I had to invest a lot of time to be able to play specific champions.
Yeah, you gotta like if you want to get better at this game, there's no secret to it, dude. You just gotta grind years of your life away at it. So this man, my man Chimich, asked the hard-hitting question: how do you feel about the RP to dollar exchange rate, Scar? Scar, this man, he said he feels cheap. I feel like I'm not getting enough RP for my dollar. What's your guys' opinion? Scar, should they be giving out more RP per dollar?
I think he should submit a ticket to Riot support and really ask them, because they're the men, women, people with all the answers.
Yeah, sorry, man. We don't know the economics behind it, so we're not really able to give you an answer on that, friend, but you know how that stuff goes. But I think that's going to be it for today with the questions, Scar. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that's great, man.
All right, then. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been Beyond the Rift, episode number 7. 8.
7?
Episode number 7. Tune in next week, because next week is going to be even more epic.
Next week we'll be talking about the group draws that happened this Saturday.
Group draws. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know about the group draws, and I know you do, there's only one spot to find it. Right here, right now, Beyond the Rift next week, except not right here, right now, next week. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate you guys being here, and I appreciate the sponsors, Discord up above, Bloody down below, giving us a lot of love. I appreciate you guys showing your love in the chat, spamming whatever dumb shit. Everyone's just spamming PogChamp right now. Yeah, PogChamp. Thank you for spamming that stuff. Scar, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter under DScar. You can find me on Twitch under just Scar. I will also be at the LCS every week, doing interviews. You can find me after the games with your favorite pros on the side. You'll see me and Travis usually grabbing the pros and being like, if you don't interview with us, we'll shoot your family. Nothing really threatening, but, kind of serious. And then you can also, I'll probably just be streaming after this show after I take a little bit of a break.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know where to find me. You're on the spot to find me. But thank you, everybody, again for tuning in today. And I hope to see you guys next week. And if you guys can't make it there, that's okay, because you can find it on Scar's YouTube, or my YouTube. Scar's YouTube first, though. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And that's it for Beyond the Rift. Peace out, guys.
Thank you, guys.